So welcome to an extremely informal video for theplayersaid.com. My name's Alexander.
I'm Grant.
And we've just finished playing Fallen Land, 2nd edition from Fallen Dominion Studios. We're here with Mike, with Ed, friends of ours that came over to play with us. Thank you very much for coming over to play with us.
Absolutely, thanks for hosting.
And just, normally when we finish these games, just have a bit of a chat about what the game was like, what we liked about it, what was going on. So this is just a bit more of an informal chat about this, more than like a full review or anything. So just want to just open it up to everyone.
Well, first off, it's a fun game.
Yes.
Right? It's
light. And it is a full fun game.
Yeah, and I would say it absolutely is a game. Right? Strategy, there's some strategy, but some of that goes out the window based on crazy events or PvP combat. Mm-hmm. And that's cool. You know, that it's just the way the game is. So you got to understand that it's a game. And I think we all had a good time. I heard a lot of laughter. Mm-hmm. I think we all enjoyed reading the cards. I think that's one of my favorite parts of the game.
Yes.
We're all kind of listening intently as you're reading. You had a beast run up on you that was mutated, and there's just all kinds of cool things that end up happening. But it's a game. It's a game.
In regards to the faction actor, the narrative is about your own faction. Mm-hmm. It's not about anything that anyone else is doing. It may impact you. You just got to take it and move on.
Yeah.
Right, because the narrative is your own trying to build your own faction, your own town, and achieve victory. It's fun. It's
well, and there is little interaction, I think, with the other, but there is some, right? Mm-hmm. You guys had a PvP. Mm-hmm. I played a card that allowed me to help Alexander finish a mission, which was, I thought, pretty cool.
And it's a game of, you've got your little town, and you're spreading out to kind of claim resources and get bigger, and eventually you'll have friction with your borders up against other people, and they want to take you, especially if you've got lots and lots of players. I think you play this with 6.
Yeah.
If you play it with 6, it's much, like, the resources feel a lot scarcer in that as well.
Crowded.
I didn't see much strategy at all. It's definitely a role-playing game.
Yes.
Style board game than any kind of strategy game.
Well, I think the strategy comes in understanding that the resource hexes are very important. Probably more important than any of the other items.
Yep.
So getting those is the only way really to get additional resources and to get additional town health.
A steady town health income.
So that's some of the strategy.
But there's nothing you can do to figure out how to take that resource hex. Right,
you draw a card and
you draw a card happens.
And you're going to roll a bunch of dice.
It's going to happen or not, right?
Yeah.
There's some basic ideas of what you want to do, but to succeed in doing that, you don't really know.
It's chaos.
And it's the thing that you'll remember out of the game is like the crazy like things that happened. Yeah. You had a card and it was
the
like
story cards.
A fun story, or the event that forced you to do something kind of wild, or some action cards were played very inopportunely. That kind of stuff. That's what you remember from it. And I know John Longren, who makes the game, it was a labor of love with like each one of those cards is like full to the brim with text and his little pulpy flavor that he puts into them. Mm-hmm. So many of your sci-fi, even fantasy and post-apocalyptic tropes.
Cultural references.
All of those. Yeah. Like half the characters are like people that you definitely know. Stuff
well,
like
this
that.
is definitely not Dutch from The Predator, right? On the card.
Right.
That's totally Dutch. Arnold Schwarzenegger right there. And that's just an example. There's tons of... here's like the...
not Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, not Scooby-Doo Mystery Machine. Yeah. So, but that's cool. I mean, he's drawing on everything that everybody knows and has a connection to create this narrative style. Take that card game.
It always adds to enjoyment if the cards are reference some fun stuff.
Sure.
For this style of game where it really is not much strategy, just rolling dice, right? The strategy is to roll ones. If you can roll ones, you're going to do really well.
Well, you're building your team to prepare for the broadest range of challenges.
True. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the challenge, the specificity of the challenge is hidden until you draw the card. But building that team, making the choice between equipment and character cards is interesting.
Well, and also the technologies, right?
Character cards and equipment are random as well.
That's true. So a lot of that part is random. Mm-hmm. Part of the reason that I got ahead early was I had some great salvage cards, like a couple big vehicles that gave me, I think it was 40 salvage.
And you got those as spoils for missions you did.
Yeah, but I was able to hock them, get a bunch of resources, and then buy a bigger technology. The technologies actually are really cool because they add to your abilities. Movement, they give you auto successes on survival, science. I think there's one for combat. And those are cool. So you can kind of build around that knowing, hey, I'm going to get at least one success on those.
And Alex, how did you earn all that money?
I had an action card that I got. I was dealt that action card, and it said, steal all of
Mike's money.
all of like the money from one player. And at that point of the game, I had nothing, because I had drawn terrible spoils cards that weren't worth anything. But I was able to take all of his money, had a lot of it. And I physically couldn't spend it fast enough.
Yeah.
Because you can only buy, can't you buy one technology
one
and one
improvement
town
and
defense
Right,
token?
yeah.
So at most, that's going to be $30 to $40
Right.
dollars. So I still have. You can see I have like 40 left over. So,
But yeah,
See, I had none.
0.
yes, all your people can die.
Yeah. The other thing that I think is cool, right? You talk about the randomness and drawing those cards. There's a ton of cards in this game.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you can see them kind of on the in front of the box over here. I'm going to guess almost each one of those has somewhere between 50 and 75 cards. A couple of them are
A lot more
huge.
than that,
And
yeah.
many more in some of them.
Yeah.
We played like 4% of the action card deck.
I can't quite see over the box,
Sorry.
but there's a lot. I mean,
Many.
so you're going to play through that. And we talked about this during setup. We took them all out of the box.
Mm-hmm.
In the past, we've played it so we kept them in the box.
Yeah, there's
We
little
pulled them from the
dividers.
front,
Mm-hmm.
and then we kind of moved them to the
Sure.
back. And it was that concept of, when we play this again, we're going to experience new things. I think that's...
So I messed up your order on that?
No.
No. But you can also then, you can flip them around and put them in the back so that you know
Yeah.
when you see the face-up ones, you have to reshuffle.
Sure.
You
Yeah,
can
yeah.
do it that way if you want.
But lots of cards, lots of opportunities, lots of options, which I think is cool.
Yeah, we played this 2-player. Playing it 4-player meant that a lot more stuff was going on. There's a lot more downtime as a result of that.
There is a lot of downtime.
Yeah.
Because, especially during the player action phase. The other phases, they're pretty quick. Everyone's kind of doing stuff. But it's, you get bogged down in, especially if you've got to do, 2 different cards, which can happen in a 4-week period. That's a lot of time to read it all, roll all your dice, make sure you're doing calculations, then do it all over again. If 3 players are doing that, it can be a bit slow at times, but...
I mean, we had this player aid from BGG.
Was
which
really nice.
It helped, but it was still a while to calculate,
Yeah.
all right, did I succeed or did I not? Because you're rolling 6 dice every time
Mm-hmm.
and comparing each of those to certain
To the numbers.
Yeah.
So it's...
But if you like kind of the Ameritrash dice mashers, I think this is one of those
Plus,
style of games, right?
You played this solo, right?
Yeah.
And I assume it functions perfectly fine as a solo game. For
Absolutely.
That. You get to enjoy that at your own pace, and it's no big deal.
There's nothing missing except the steal all your money card.
So did you play the actual solo
I did.
mode? Okay.
Yeah.
What is that called?
And what does that
can't read
entail?
It entails the NPCs are rolling on a chart and gaining
Journey into Darkness.
health and prestige,
Okay.
a certain spread. It's very deterministic, right?
They're not really doing anything on the board.
They'll throw non-player character groups at you and stuff, mercenaries, but they're not doing anything else on the board running around. So you've got the board yourself, but they're gaining a minimal 1 to 3 on each one per turn.
So it's one of those concepts where the solitaire...
And they start ahead of you. I'm sorry, they start
Got
ahead
it.
of
So
you.
the solitaire bot, in some ways, is very difficult to beat.
It was difficult.
Because it gains stuff kind of every turn, no matter what happens.
You have to be on your game and winning. And,
Yeah.
achieving the missions.
How many missions or cards did we actually fail? I failed one.
I
ended up
failed at least
killing a couple of
You failed a
guys.
couple, yeah.
I
So
failed everyone I did.
Really?
Everyone?
Yes.
You never had a success.
Nope.
Wow.
I didn't realize that.
And he was 3 points away from victory.
Yeah, interesting. Interesting.
You had to win the resource locations to get the health up.
Yeah, that's
The
true.
town
And you've
health.
got some
I
of your
didn't win any
resource.
resource locations.
Did you not? Is that one
No,
down
I
there?
started
You
with
didn't?
that one.
Okay, interesting. Well, now I see why Ed.
It was never beyond the second slot.
Sometimes
Got it.
sometimes you rolled a 1 at least a couple times.
Oh, yeah, on the
On
town.
that
Yeah,
town.
yeah.
Or at least maybe once on that town event chart, which
bonus
gave
thing, yeah.
a couple.
Which was for
That's
plus 4
true.
town health. Yeah.
I
didn't you-
strongly recommend drawing the town event cards. They're much more interesting than
Got it.
rolling
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
On the
Yeah.
table. I think that rolling.
I didn't
on the
look at him before we.
The rolling on the table was intended to just move it along.
Yeah, move it along.
Right.
Yeah,
But yeah, the event cards are fun.
that'd be fun.
Overall, I would play this again. I think not everybody's going to love it. I think those that do love it will play it often because I think it's a light game that
Yes.
you can't take too seriously.
If you're playing with any amount of people, you do need quite a large space for it, though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can see this takes up a very large space of 4 people.
And this is a huge table.
Yeah. So just know that this
Yeah.
is, and I think this is because this is the neoprene mat.
Yep, that's the updated neoprene mat that I think is
Is
about.
it the same size or a bit bigger?
It's a little bit bigger. I'd say
Okay.
25% bigger.
Okay.
I think I said 30 earlier, but it's like 25% bigger.
You know what? If they pull you
Which
up
is
on the
nice.
5%,
Yeah, right.
no one's going to worry about that. But yeah,
But it's nice, right?
you got a big tableau. Your opponent's got a big tableau, and there's a big bank of all those cards and discard
Yeah.
piles. So just it's not a small game.
But once again, leave the cards in the box.
Yeah.
That cuts down on some of that table creep.
It does.
A little bit. But yeah,
No,
look
that's
at the
big time.
tableaus. It's crazy. I mean, there's stuff everywhere. Look at Mike's. Just everywhere. But yeah. Would you play it again, Ed?
No.
No. Okay. And that's
I
fine.
would rather
That's fine.
play
Yeah.
Gamma World or Mutant
Zero-
Year
okay.
Zero or some
Something else.
role-playing game, post-apocalyptic role-playing game.
Got it.
Then there's some human brain behind the actions that are happening,
Got it.
which I
Okay.
always find more enjoyable.
Alexander?
This is a vehicle for the cards, which have the fun stories in it. That's the part that I love the most. I would play it again, but it's so that I can access more of those.
Got it.
The cards are the enjoyable fun part.
Well, I agree. The cards are nice and fun.
Yeah.
That's why I'd rather do the role-playing
role-playing
game,
side
'cause
of it,
you
yeah.
can get all that
Sure.
in a role-playing game.
Mike, would you play it again?
Oh yeah, and I have. It's if you enjoy a hybrid board war game RPG narrative experience of total chaos. You have no way to control what the radical action deck
Sure.
cards are that the other players have, and that is fun to me. I like that. It's a
Yeah.
dense game that you cannot control what's going to happen. You
I'm
just got to
actually-
navigate it.
I'm actually really proud of myself because I think the couple times we've played this game.
You won.
Well, no. I don't care when someone hoses you.
Yeah,
Right?
that's-
Like takes my stuff
exactly,
or kills
yeah.
my. It's like it's just part of the game,
Right.
right? It doesn't really bother me.
Yes. Okay. So that's what to point out.
Yeah.
You just know that this is a very in-your-face
Take
take
that.
that game, which that will turn some people off for sure.
Yeah.
And it's like you cannot get away from that. There's not a way to play it nicely,
Yeah.
really.
I guess you could take those cards
The red
out
dot
of the
cards
game
out.
if you wanted
But
because
yeah,
it's the
but-
red dot cards
yeah.
generally.
Okay.
So you
stole
could.
all my
You
money.
could.
Yeah.
You stole all my money.
Yeah.
That was
I
brutal.
was not out of the game.
Sure.
But it was also like I also took hostage like everyone else's town guys.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
there's so much of that in this game, and just like understand that.
What about I help everyone but you?
Yeah,
that was
awesome.
hilarious.
That was great.
Which felt extra mean.
It does.
Like
He
the second
still
was
won.
worse.
Well, and that card literally it was exclude one player.
Uh-huh.
Which
And-
is great.
Everybody got like
little bit of everything.
Bunch of stuff.
5 or 10 salvage coins, a couple of action cards,
Prestige
a
point.
prestige
Yeah.
point, and there was
Hell,
something
But
else.
we all got a spoil as well.
Man, it was
Yeah.
really good.
Action
And a
card,
character.
spoil card,
You
character
did- you
card.
needed the character.
See, I needed the
Yeah.
character. I'm like, thanks, Ed. Really appreciate it. I lost it, dude.
Something of everything except for one person.
Yeah.
But you still won, and that's
Yeah, and it's
so
but
it
it's
wasn't
just
crippling.
light and fun. I would play it again, and I've enjoyed our plays of it. I just think the right group and the right players who have the right mindset are the ones that are going to really, enjoy that.
What I was curious about is prestige versus. There's two ways of winning. You get the most prestige or the most town health. Didn't seem like there was many that was like pushing towards prestige versus pushing towards town
Right.
health.
We didn't really push that score very hard, and I've seen it pushed hard playing against the bot.
So is there like I haven't looked at the
The
text
engine
enough.
of the cards, I
Is
think.
it doing mostly resources to get town health and mostly missions
Well,
to do
you know what?
prestige?
Actually, we played the short game, which is only 20 town health, and we're getting 2 to 4 or 5 a turn.
Every turn, yeah.
So that was much easier to achieve than the same amount of prestige. If you play 50 town
No, it's
health,
10 prestige. on
but
the
if we
short
play
game.
50 town health, so if you're playing short game, it's 10. So we were actually within 2. That's actually very close.
within 3.
I was
Yeah.
wondering if the ones that have played more, whether like the missions are more
I
geared
think
towards
the other
prestige
times that
or-
we've played, I think it's been Town Health that's been the victory.
I honestly don't remember.
But I will say, when you build these extra technologies, that's 5 Town Health.
Yeah,
That's
and
big.
they give you a strong bonus.
Yeah, and it does give you a
Prestige.
prestige.
that was
But
one
the
of the things that really soured me. Is like at the start of the game, I had $6 worth of cards in my auction house,
Yeah.
and you had $40.
I had 40.
which
Yeah,
basically
that made a
gives you
huge
free,
difference.
A free chip.
Yep, I was able to buy the energy production or Law and Order, and it gave me an extra action
I would
card.
almost like to see like a Seven Wonders style draft of the spoils
Yeah.
cards or something.
Yeah, that'd
That
be
might
interesting.
be because then you would actually be because the other thing is remember some of these characters have specific cards in the deck.
Yes.
Remember that one week the
Yeah.
Native American gentleman? I didn't have him in my deck, but that came up, right?
I had one that had bonus if you have Karen.
Yeah, I think that one of my people that died, if her husband was in the party,
Karen?
they
Right.
synergized.
No, but I had this lady, and it's like, if during your movement, if you're 1 hex away from the war wagon, which I presume someone else has to have, and
Yes.
then I get to be near them, I can attempt
Chaos.
on a 1d6 to steal it back.
Got it.
Okay.
But like,
Never came up.
not only do you have to have the card, someone close to you then has to have it. Like
Yeah.
it's never gonna happen.
That's like the flavor. Like, she's got a deep skill set.
Oh yeah,
She's
there's some
valuable by
big
herself,
numbers.
with an 8 health and a +1 movement, and
She has an 8 health.
yeah.
That's like better than everyone. Oh, my real powerful guys there have high ones, but yeah, that's a great question. How often is Prestige a win versus Town Hall? I don't know that I know the
I don't
answer
know.
to
Yeah.
that.
Why did it took me even more is like, can you push towards one or the other, or is it just still random
Yeah.
within the missions and resources? Which is basically your two choices, or you go resources or you go missions, or mix.
Yeah,
It phases. I think it's
that's
resources
tough.
then missions. Build your economy, because you need these every turn. Because if somebody else has +4 and you've only got +2, well, they're
Yeah.
running away from you at double the speed.
Well, and I ended up buying. We started with 2. I bought one every round, and this 4th round I would have bought that. Don't you do that at the end of the turn?
It'd have been the beginning in that town phase.
Okay, so there was one round I wasn't able to buy one.
Yeah.
So I bought 3. I think you bought 2.
I was able to buy one in the whole
One.
game.
I bought one.
One. So that.
Somebody stole all my money.
Yeah. Well.
yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty
That's
bad.
the only way I could afford one.
Yeah. But I think players.
But I was second, so I mean that again.
Yeah.
It wasn't fatal.
Yeah, it wasn't like everybody ran away with it. I
No.
think we were all pretty close.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I did Comic Con see you last round, so.
Yeah, you did. PNP just.
Well, I wanted to see what
Yeah,
the,
see what-
I
you
wanted
wanna
to
see
see
what
what
it
the
is.
player
Yeah.
versus player combo was like, so I didn't attack.
Very
So.
true.
Yes, and then we watched that happen, and then we decided not to do that.
It did seem like it was going to be a long process. if
Yeah.
we
Oh, absolutely.
played
Yeah, yeah.
with the correct
Well, because you
rules.
keep going until one side or the other is
Fleas.
kaput.
Well, it's Flea.
Flea, okay.
It was the end of the game. Ed knew it, so he was not going to
Didn't want to flee.
because
Got it.
it was going to be over anyway.
Sure.
But yeah, fun resources, like there's nice little production value in it. They give you the
Yeah.
custom D10s.
Great pieces.
Yeah, the components are very nice.
Yeah. Good production. Really is a good
And the
production.
artwork's great.
Yep.
It's in its cartoon style, but there's so much in it.
Yeah.
And I know I've said it
Yeah.
before, but I think the designer achieved his stated mission when I talked to him at Gen Con.
Mm-hmm.
When I bought it, the first edition, he didn't make it to be anybody's compromise. He put the kitchen sink in it that he wanted.
Yes.
Sure.
And his team wanted, and they accomplished that.
Yeah.
That's that chaos. I love it.
There's definitely a kitchen sink in here somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
One
without
of those
question.
spoils cards.
In one of those cards.
And the fact you're never going to see all the action cards in any given game, or
Yeah.
even half, or even a third of them.
You'd have to play it
It's
probably 10
great.
times to really see everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fantastic.
Yeah. But that adds to replayability for sure.
We saw 15% of the characters, and
Mm-hmm.
man, maybe 20% of the
But like,
spoils.
we didn't even see 50% of the characters. A bunch of those
Oh,
are
that's
like
true.
discards from when I had
Discard,
to
yeah.
fish for the
That's true.
master guy.
And I think some of the spoils cards, I had a card that allowed me to shift through them to find a relic.
Yes, yes.
So that I found a katana.
Yeah.
You know, which was basically Michonne's katana from The Walking Dead.
Oh,
Did
that's
you
cool.
also find Elvis's glasses?
No,
as
I
well?
drew those. I drew those on a spoil. I got a couple of spoil cards and drew them. So I threw them on. They're pretty nice. It's one on everything. So that's a pretty nice ability. And they have a 0 What do you call
Encumbrance?
it?
Nice.
Encumbrance. So yeah, kind of cool.
Oh,
The
look.
question though is, do the border markings still matter?
What are you talking about?
The Canadian and
No.
Mexican
No,
border
they don't
markings
matter.
are on
Oh
the
yeah,
map.
I know.
I didn't know you had the Zamboni of death.
Yeah.
That's
I was
fantastic.
driving around with that sweet +0 speed. It's very slow, but it actually was like not half
No,
decent
that's
as a vehicle.
fantastic.
Sure.
5 combat.
My van gave me a re-roll of 1 failed,
Yeah.
which
And
was nice.
See, I could ditch to succeed
Mhm.
with a combat test if
Ooh.
I needed.
You'd have to throw it away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that's Fallen Land, right?
Yeah,
Second edition.
Fallen Land. So we might see something a bit more formal later on, maybe. But if not, yeah, I had a fun time with everyone
Sure.
here.
Yeah.
It was
Thanks
nice.
for playing, guys. I really
What it is. So
appreciate
thank
it.
you
Yeah.
for coming and playing with
Ditto.
us. But yeah, check it out for something you're interested in. But appreciate very much for tuning in. I'm Alexander from PlayState.com.
And I'm Grant.